All right, I would like to introduce Glenn D. His sobriety date's June 15th, 2023, out of Breakfast AA Men's Meeting, Portland, Oregon. Glenn, passing you the mic. I'll see you on the other side.
Thank you very much. Um, Thank you for having me here, and I'm glad to do this. Um, I've been sober about 2.5 years, or close to, but I still feel like I'm new and I'm still learning. So here goes. I came to AA to stop drinking, and early on, I realized that I realized that there was a great extent to the lying that I was doing in my life. My whole life was lying. Um, I lied about the money that I needed for drinking, the time I spent hiding it and securing it and shopping for it and so on, hiding from my that I did from my wife and others, and lying to my family and friends and even my doctor. Um, and as I got into this a little bit more, I realized that the real issue was that I was lying to myself. Um, I came to realize that my character defects were based on fear. And that wasn't obvious at first at all. I'm not afraid of anything, but um, I was afraid of not being able to do a job, of not of being found out or being embarrassed, and basically at the very very bottom of it all, a fear of not being enough. Um, so I would cover my fear with judgment even for things that I also did, but this internal judgment tape just kept going on and on and on. Um, I was not self-aware of my anger or dissatisfaction, and so I had helpful advice for people, and it was I'd say things, but there was a jab in it. There was a little sarcasm. There was hurt in there that I really wasn't aware of at all. Um, So when I would get upset, I'd have days of speech making to myself. I wouldn't blather on and on about to the person involved that it might we might have gotten things squared out. No, no, it was just to myself, um, and other people, no, mostly my wife, but other people would say, "You seem to be upset." No, I'm not upset, but I really, really was, and I couldn't seem to get out of that pattern until until lately. I was critical. Others saw my upset before I did, and the next thing that I noticed, AA is a spiritual program, and I noticed that I had a very uh, difficult time with God, with a higher power, because I expected it to be like that Christmas song. He knows if you've been bad or good. He knows. So be good for goodness sake. So somebody watching over my shoulder, somebody with a shaking finger the whole time. No, I'm sorry. No, that's not going to happen. That's not the way it is. I knew very well um, that I was in charge and responsible for my own reactions, even if I couldn't stop drinking, couldn't stop lying, couldn't stop. But um, I know that I was supposed to be in charge. And therefore, I figured that I was the captain of my own ship, by golly, and nobody's going to tell me what to do. Um, and I never thought that I was controlling, but of course I was wrong. Um, I couldn't control others, people's reaction to me. Um, and I found out that others doing whatever it was the wrong way, it often worked out just fine without my help or intervention. Um, and and I thought, how can God be in charge when I'm supposed to be in charge of myself, of me? So um, it took me a while to sort this out, and I'm still sorting it out. I'm stubborn, and and sometimes I'm a real slow learner. So what I learned is that I have to be patient. I have to listen more and talk less. Um, You know, when people cut you off in traffic, um, when they interrupt your story to tell you one of their own, or when they're rude or disrespectful, or uh, discount what you are, what you think you know. Um, it's just easy for me. Like in a second, I'm off the rails. I'm already making the speeches in my head. Um, but I have learned that I can step aside. I can step back. I can realize it's not personal. It's not really directed at me. Sometimes I can do that. Sometimes I can't. Um, I always could avoid them, or I could change the topic, change the subject if they're talking too much or if they're too annoying. Um, but I realize that they're dealing with their own trauma, and then their attitude often will change if they feel heard or if they feel acknowledged in some way. Gee, Bob, I hear what you're saying, but have you ever considered about do that? And then we go off in a different way. I'm not real good at this kind of stuff, but I'm getting there. Um, one of the things that were the hardest for me was making amends, because first of all, I didn't believe that I had anything to be apologizing for because I wasn't at all honest with myself. Um, and then once I knew that I had to make amends and had to do things right, um, I um, I was just ashamed and very embarrassed and really didn't want to do it. Um, I also discovered that I had expectations of some kind of return. Well, I just bared my soul to you, and uh, shouldn't you be saying something to me? No, you shouldn't be. It's just, it's just me and what's good for me. Uh, I'm doing it for myself. I'm not doing it for you particularly. I'm doing it to get myself clean and straight and right with the world. Um, I said I'm slow and pigheaded. The So many people say that they have this white light experience and burdens are lifted from my shoulder, and I feel so much better. None of that happened for me. I did notice that over time, my relationships with the people that I had offended improved. Um, I began to uh, um, I began to see that they had a point, that they had that I was more patient, I was more tolerant of them, I was much less sarcastic. Um, I saw that we were working together at times, and not just whatever my plan was, because my plan clearly wasn't going to work so well, especially if I told it to him. Um, I had more care and compassion, and I learned to see other people's sides of things and to be grateful and thank them for that. Um, and I was more willing to help and accept a job, something that I never would have done. It's the first time somebody asked me to speak at a meeting. I said, "Well, let me think about it." Baloney. There's no thinking about it. It's something that you need to do to help people. So um, I've taken over I'm the president of an art group that I'm in. I take initiative in a lot of things that I ordinarily would have hung back on and not done. Um, let's see. Um, when I'm willing to do that, but I'm not put upon. It's like, all right, no, none of that. It's just, yeah, I can do that for you. Sure, let me. No, and I just do it. I just help out. It's kind of nice. Um, I used to spend a lot of time in the past or worrying about the future, and so I find when I'm worried now, there's less catastrophizing. I'm not going to die from this. That kid isn't going to get that car. things will be fine. And if things get really serious out of hand, I'm here. I can step in, but I don't need to, and I don't need to correct people. And I need to get out of my own way. Thinking about those kinds of things, make a whole lot less speeches to myself, and when I do, they last minutes, a minute tape in my mind, or a comment like driving in the car. I make some comment and then, oh, no, not a good plan. Does now last hours and days. I start every day with a ritual of prayer and meditation. Um, and I have three things that I'm most aware of. I try to be committed to. One is to being present, and not dwelling on the past, not dwelling on the future, not having nightmares about what might happen or what happened, or oh my God, that was so stupid. How could you be so idiot? No, no, none of that. I'm going to be present. The other thing is that I'm going to do my very, very best to be open. So if there's somebody who has a good idea, I just don't like them, or I just don't like the way they said it, or I just something. Wait a minute, that was a good idea. I'm open to, okay, we could do that. And the other thing is I have to be ready. I find, particularly with people out there, that, you know, excuse me, there are people that annoy me. So sorry about that. I try to be ready, even if I really don't feel like I want to be. you know, you need to kind of be ready for this and open and there. So I realize that now uh, that I am enough, that I can do just about anything I want to. It might take a little bit of extra time, and I might make some mistakes. And I think that mistakes are kind of the way you learn things. Um, okay, not fall flat on your face and make an ass of yourself. No, 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 but that was a mistake. Gee, and I apologize for it. And hey, I didn't mean to do that. So on. So I am enough. I want to stay humble in my life and stay teachable. So thank you for letting me tell you my life story.